jointly with Columbia University and MIT Sloan. I am a program graduate from IIM Ahmedabad. As a matter of professional this responsibility, in a way, I have been very actively uh, giving sessions as faculty before various forums of the ICSI, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and the Chamber of Tax Consultants. I am also actively involved in the various activities and the committees of the Chamber of Tax Consultants, which is again a body of professionals. I have contributed articles across various forums, and yeah, happy to be here, and happy to discuss with SK Associates and Group. And I thank SK Associates and Group as well for inviting me on this episode of Conversation with Consultants. And over to you.
Okay. The only things that stand between you and your dream is the will to try and the belief that actually possible. It's a beautiful quote quoted by Joel Brown. So with this quote, I would like to bring our talk show named Conversation with Consultants, episode 33 of our guest talk series. Good evening, everyone. I am Rima Kumari, a HR associate and ECR coordinator of SKNG.
Good evening, everyone. I am Pooja Kumari, HR Associates and OD Coordinator of SK Associates in Group. We both are your host for today talk show. Before we begin our talk show, let me briefly introduce SK Associates and Group. We are an ISO certified management consulting firm registered under the MSMT Act 2006 with the Government of India. Our mission is to provide consulting services to student entrepreneurs globally, covering areas such as compliance, operations, marketing, research and development, human capital, strategy, and operations. Our passion lies in helping these budding entrepreneurs bring their dreams to life and contribute to global economic growth.
Entrepreneurship is a catalyst for change and innovation. It's a powerful force that can reshape industries, transform lives, and make the world a better place. We are committed to supporting student entrepreneurs on their journey, equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and networks they need to succeed.
Okay, now before we begin our show, let's take a moment to introduce our guest for today. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome CS Raj Kapadia, founder RK Kapadia and Associates to this special event. We are truly honored by your presence today and we are thrilled to have you share this momentous occasion with us. We would like to start this interview with our first question for you. What inspired you to start your company and how did the idea come to you?
Inspired to start a company, you said? Inspired to start the company. Is that what you asked?
Again, repeat. What
Yes,
inspired
please. Huh.
what inspired you to start your company and how did the idea come to you?
About my idea, so I am a practicing company secretary. I am having my own setup here. So before that, first of all, thank you, as I said at the beginning as well, to SK Associates and Group for inviting me to this talk show. It is a wonderful initiative that you are spreading the knowledge to the entrepreneurs and young, basically budding entrepreneurs and students, and like equipping them with whatever tools and the details that they would require probably to start their entrepreneurial journey. I'm sure chat shows like this will also be of immense help to entrepreneurs and students alike. So with that, I am a practicing company secretary. I am having my own setup. When we are when we are talking, it is almost 8 years now that I am into practice. I am a fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. And while I was actually while I was learning about it, while I was studying for the profession for the CS, it was a time when India was going through transformative changes as far as the legal framework was concerned. The new laws were being put into place. The new Companies Act 2013 was introduced in 2014. It was with effect from 1st April 2014. There were new insolvency laws which were proposed. The goods and services tax was introduced somewhere in 2017, which was the year when I started my practice. So 2017 onwards, I have started my practice. So all that India was gearing up for becoming a good governance, a leading example in a way of a good governance society, in a way, if I may say so. The focus of the government was also to promote good governance. So minimum government, maximum governance was the motto in a way of the then government, which is also the same government as on date as well. So looking at that, looking at good governance, and in a way partnering with India to become a good governed nation. So that is what basically inspired me to like start my own entrepreneurial journey as a practicing company secretary. Uh, it is basically to set an example and to partner with India. So to make India and realize the vision of developed India, basically. So that was what inspired me.
Okay, your next question is, can you share some of the initial challenges you faced when launching your business?
Initial challenges, I think that it would be as I think common for across all the businesses, that how to get a foothold in the market, wherein so that is how it is. So we have to there has to be something unique for businesses, for all businesses. The core value which as a entrepreneur we are offering, that has to be clearly identified. If not already, then that has to be identified, and that is what to be offered. So that is where initial struggle was, that I mean, how to get known, how to spread the word that yes, CS Raj Kapadia has also now entered into a private practice. He has his own firm now of company secretaries. He is providing whichever services that he is providing. So that was it. So to get clients, like that was the initial this. I mean, like we have opened our shop, but then what about how to sustain basically and to get new clients? That has been what the struggle was to begin with.
Okay, your next question is, what was the moment when you realized your company was on the right path?
When I realized, so I think when I realized it, when I started getting repeat orders. I, as we talked just that to begin with, I had started with like doing a gap analysis, like writing minutes, drafting, which is in fact the most important thing, the drafting of documents, records of minutes. It is the most important part as far as governance is concerned. So that's where I started, like keeping it basic, back to the basic. Wherever you are stuck, it's always preferable to go back to your basics, and that's how I also started with the core registers, records, minutes, documentation, drafting, all that I did. Then we then one by one thing led to the other led to the third, so all that. So through this, then I started getting repeat businesses. I started also getting references, because that wow factor which clients also experience in a way, whom I served through my firm, clients experience that, and in a way made references to others to to set up the entity, to get these services which I am offering, whether it is the CS services, whether it is the intellectual property rights, the trademark services, whether it is legal documentation services, all that. When I got to know that yes, I am getting repeat orders, I am getting references, that's when I knew that okay, I am on the right path, and like this is the way to go.
Okay, moving ahead, next question. How did you overcome the fear of failure and when kept you motivated during tough time?
Looking at me at this moment, I think it is a live example of coping with failures. How I have started, I was never this, and I was not. I don't know. I was destined to be a company secretary in practice, but that's not how I had started. It was way back in like what 16, 17 years back in 2007 when I started the professional journey with a chartered accountancy. So, so after 12th, those CA and this entrance exam and inter exam, every one exam every 3 months. That was what it is. I had started the chartered accountancy from entrance level, then CS from entrance level, and also LLB as well after BCom. So I had practically to give one high level exam, whether it is like professional level exam in every 3 to 4 months. I had one exam to give, and same result. I mean, I couldn't clear chartered accountancy. It was the same result every time. Kuch na kuch, like if one subject I would score, other subject I would not. And you know how I got into the exam? That is also another interesting story. The entrance exam for CA CPT was the exam in which that was historically one and only time when paper got leaked. That CA-CPT exam was the only time, that exam in 2007 was the only time that paper was leaked, and for no fault of mine, basically I got to know later and I had to reappear. In spite of the fact that I had given the exam, it went the way it went and it was a good attempt, but then I had to reappear. Same was the case with CS entrance exam as well, that I gave the entrance exam, the paper got lost in transit. That I got to know at a later time. The paper, entrance exam paper got lost in transit. So what would I have done? Yeah, why me? That was what I was like. Instead of going into all that, I kept giving same result. Chartered accountancy is something which I couldn't complete. I have kept that at the side. I have focused, then I focused solely on company secretaries. I cleared that. I cleared law exam. So I think that is how it is. I don't know how to actually put it into like those words, but then this is how failures would come. It would be at every stage, and I have experienced, in fact, at the entrance itself, for no fault of mine, for both the exams I had to experience this, that like giving papers again and again. So that is how it is. Failures do come. Even from business point of view, it may not be always that you are able to deliver whatever that you have promised clients. There may be also gaps in communication or expectation. That also may be the case. So as much as possible, I think that shouldn't let this affect you. What I did at that moment, if I go back to my this as a this CA and a company secretary student, what I used to do is, I mean, that's how it has been, focusing on well, like all aspects, growth in all aspects, not just the study aspects. So that at that time I used to like pursue acting for some time. I have pursued dancing just to let it out. It's a way to relax. So then do whichever thing, whatever thing that gives you that, like, you should recharge the battery. Basically, for phones, you keep it on charging every night, and you like ensure that yes, the phones are at like full, like optimum battery level. Likewise, your body also would need, your mind also would need that recharge. So for me, it was something to do with dancing or singing or some in that field. So that's how I used to just recharge myself and then get back. So because this is what we have to do, it was very clear. My father being a chartered accountant in practice for over 40 years, my mom was a doctor, so I was more inclined towards like becoming a professional. It was very clear that this is what I had to do, and this was how I used to just like take time out, do whichever extracurricular activity or whichever activity which would get you back on track, and then keep doing. That is how I have come till here. Yeah.
Okay. What were some unexpected lessons you learned in your entrepreneurial journey?
Unexpected lessons. That is like initially what I have seen is that we are all uh, Unexpected lessons, you said. So you talked about unexpected lessons, Pooja ji.
Yeah.
Okay. Unexpected lessons, I think I have mentioned it in between as well, that uh, I mean, there may be, see, this unexpected lessons in what I would say. I mean, this is something which I also need to think. These questions are such that I would never have actually thought about my own this entrepreneurial journey. And now that you are asking, so I am also thinking about those. I think clear communication is most essential. That is what I have seen. Whatever it is, I am actually a practitioner of good governance. So I think I myself also should ensure that whatever work that I am doing, it is well documented, it is well, it is communicated across all the channels, whether it is clients, whether it is internally with the team, whether it is responsibilities which is there, whether it is the delegation with responsibility. So if I am delegating it to someone in a team, then with responsibility, with all specific, as much as possible, that it is specified, that communication is clear, crisp, and also becoming organized, because we are day in and day out dealing with multiple deadlines, and like multiple things happen. You would be also aware there are like multiple laws which are applicable to entrepreneurial entities, whether it is taxation, corporate laws, the securities laws, and all of them have deadlines, and it becomes a mess. If it is not organized, then it becomes a absolute mess. So I think some structure has to be in place. So this is these are the two. So instead of like, these are the two that I am able to think of. Yeah.
Okay, your next question is what role did your team play in shaping the company and how do you hire the right people?
How do I hire? This is a very important actually question, because your team actually makes, or this the entity which is there, that the clear cut. So across the organization, the detail, the vision, or like what the organization is, that needs to clearly be told across the team, irrespective of whether it is intern which is joining, or whether it is your subordinate, or whichever way. What SOPs are there, everything needs to be clearly told. And as far as interns are concerned, because in CS profession we need to also have interns for like 21 months, for 1 year as applicable under this. So what I see is that as far as internships are concerned, I basically look for the thing that at least whatever period is there, 1 year, say 1.5 year, or 21 months, or whichever, that person is committed towards it. And as much as possible, that person, he or she, intern or employee, will give that time, because in between it is a really a thing that, like students also, they look for opportunities, they probably may be more interested towards corporate, so all these things. So what I look for basically is, as far as the internship is concerned, with my team, that at least that person, for whatever period is there as per the agreement, is committed towards that. Remaining things we can get it done, that is we can explain, we can teach, so all that is possible, but main thing is the commitment towards the organization, and delivering deliverables as and when it is required. Team is very important. What role team plays, it is very important, because like it is basically my name which is there, that person is working for me. So that so my name, the interaction would be through any team member, but then that would be representing Raj Kapadia. So that I think it is very important. It is not that person, but it is me itself through them who is. So that alignment has to be in the team, and that is, I think, that's what I can think of, ma'am.
Okay, moving ahead, next question. Can you, how did you identify the unique value proposition of your company?
I think I think, as I have already mentioned earlier as well, that keeping it very basic and simple is the formula instead of too complicating things. So, unique value proposition is ultimately, as far as in my field as well, in the governance field as well. So, we are known as governance professionals. If we simplify governance as well, it is basically the thing that it anything, whether it is a disclosure, any compliance, any action, is done in the manner that it should be done, or it should be filed, or it should be complied. That has to be seen. Where if the act requires anything to be done, then it is done in its the manner that it should be. So keeping that, the way that I started, that I mentioned at the start itself, that through drafting, through uh, precise, crisp, and simple drafting of this. That's how I started, and that's how I could get. And that is the value proposition, keeping it very simple and giving the assurance that the client ultimately wants, that yes, the client is in safe hands. It is getting entire end to end value from my firm. So we are the firms, we can offer end to end services to clients in one roof. I, as a company secretary, lawyer, IPR professional, my father is also associated. He's a chartered accountant in practice. So wherever audit, finance, tax aspects also we can handle. We can handle legal compliance aspects as well. So that assurance to the client that they are in the safe hands, and whichever requirement, whether under including corporate laws, securities laws, FEMA laws, RBI, all that will be taken care of. So that is the unique value proposition that we can offer. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your next question is, what was the hardest part about balancing your personal life with running a business?
That is another difficult question, really, because as we being in the more of a compliance and governance field and working with deadlines, something or the other key, like it is on throughout the year, and in a way that balance gets affected in like most of the times. But that's how it is. I mean, even in the middle of these deadlines, we are like, I really try to have time out for the things that I actually like, whether as I mentioned about dancing. So currently I am also learning singing. In a way, I am trying to learn. It would not affect the profession in a way, but then my voice modulation I am trying to train ongoingly. So I have kept pursuing something or the other which would add value to what I am. That is how I have, in whichever field. So I, till now, I keep pursuing something or the other. Very recently, as I told at the start, that IIM Ahmedabad, the program that I did was very recently. In fact, just the this earlier this year itself, I have completed that. So even so, that is how it is very difficult to juggle between work and personal life, but then it is very important as well. I have kept pursuing in between. Wherever I have time, I am sure that okay, work is managed, it will be done some way or the other, and then I have time out for personal things, whether it is for family. I got married a couple of years back, so for my spouse, for my family, for likes, interests, all that, I make it a point to at least have some time out for that. Yeah.
Okay, it's great.
Thank you.
Your next question is, can you share an example of a key decision that changed the direction of your business?
Key decision that changed direction of the business. I will have to really give that a thought, because I mean, over the years, it has been actually like the motto that we as company secretaries have is Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, which is I don't know the actual meaning, but then what we have in ICSI is that speak the truth, abide by the law. That's what we tell in our motto as well. Speak the truth, abide by the law. And wherever, as much as possible, the this sticking to good governance practice, sticking to compliance, which is there in substance as well as in form, not just in form but in substance as well, that has been the key area. And like sticking to that, in there will be like trying and testing times, but this is what we have stuck to that as much as possible. And also giving the required assurance as well to clients that yes, they are in correct hands. So that sticking to that, in that the core value which is there as a company secretary, just sticking to that has really, that decision to follow that has actually impacted. And like this is where I am now. That is what I can say.
Okay, moving ahead. Next question: what have you learned about leadership as your company as a grow?
Can you please repeat that, ma'am?
What have you learned about leadership as your company has grown?
Okay. Leadership as the company has grown. Leadership. So leadership, I think mentioned it earlier as well, that leadership, the responsibility always can never be delegated. So whichever field is there, you may delegate the work, but then the responsibility will stay. I mean, ultimately, we are going to be asked the question as entrepreneurs that so what is the status of XYZ assignment or document or drafting or filing? What is the status of that? Why is it this? At that time I can't answer that, oh, I have given it to so and so, my assistant, so I'll just check out. No, I have to be sure, I have to be updated, I should know. So that responsibility can not be this. The work can be delegated, but responsibility can never be. That is what I have seen. And with responsibility, the like powers and duties both go hand in hand, the rights as well as duties, so both have to go hand in hand. Well, you can't just give more weightage to this is my entity, I can do whatever. No, that responsibility also goes together, it has to be balanced perfectly. So I think that is what the I can tell about this as far as leadership is, the question of leadership is concerned, ma'am.
Okay, moving ahead, next question. How did you find your startup in the early days, and what advice do you have for founders seeking capital?
As far as like funding goes for me and founders as well, uh, funding basically, it was in my case, it was like funded by like self financed, because as as far as my this goes, I had a experience when I started my practice in 2017. I had a experience as a chartered accountancy student of articleship, as well as working on projects which were related to accounting, taxation. I got that rich background and knowledge. I couldn't clear ultimately in the final attempt. That's where I stopped pursuing the chartered accountancy. But that is what I got as an experience of the entire. So whether it is for individual accounting, taxation, whether for corporates, LLPs, all different types of entities, the audits, the like risk assessment, the advisory aspects, everything I got. My father as well, we were working with him while I was also studying for company secretaries. So through that experience, I could then start with my own setup. It was self funded, but of course, for entrepreneurs, if I have to tell that idea for a funding, then actually the belief in the idea is very important. Like in my case, I had this is what I want to do. This is how it is. So I was never meant to become a company secretary. It has pivoted, and this is where I found the interest. Subsequently, as I was preparing the exam itself, I found more a keener interest towards the theory and the legal side instead of the like numbers and figures side. So then this is how it has developed, and this is how, so have that conviction is very important. I think founders having a new idea, having a new product, that conviction in oneself is very important. You may face many hurdles, like as I have told, for almost like 4 5 years I have just given one exam or the other, and with the same result, failing every time some new, this subject is stronger or weaker. So but having that conviction in your own self that yes, you will be able to, you will make it. It is going to be really difficult to get funding. There are means as well, there are government approved schemes as well, which can be made use of with the right type of advice. So I think while looking for funding as well, professionals, for like entrepreneurs, they need to have conviction over their offering which is there, and come what may, to stick to that, and also like have a right kind of team, including professionals as well, who can give that right type of advice which is needed, who can actually handhold the entrepreneurs in making it in their respective fields. So that is what I would give to entrepreneurs as well.
Your next question is, how could you define yourself as a leader?
Lot to learn. I think it is. I mean, it is always like the journey. I would say that journey is more important than destination. It is said that, as per that famous quote, and I would agree definitely. It has been a wonderful journey, and like destination, I think it is still too many things to unfold. Like for as a leader, learning always. I mean, many things, new challenges come up every time we have to face something. It would definitely like give some insight or the other. So always learning, always be open to learning new things. That's all. Also what I would suggest, it is never that "Arey, abhi kahan, it's not the right age, now I need to focus on my work." It's never like that. It is always you can learn, and that is also how, like, it is, things are changing like anything. Use of AI has increased in many fields, and like we need to gear up, and instead of opposing AI as well, we need to actually incorporate it in our work, and we need to learn new technology, we need to learn new methods which are evolving. Each and every, as far as compliance industry goes, again, each and every department wise, the government department is becoming digital end to end. So for like I have seen people struggle as well to understand as well. So we need to constantly remain updated, and need to learn, need to keep learning. That's how I also take my leadership role in my organization. Like everyday new challenges and gearing up to that. That is how I would say.
Okay, moving ahead, next question. How did you manage competition and what strategies helped you company stand out?
Managing competition by remaining on the right path. That is what it is. The motto that I told, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. So following that, wherever, like, no compromise definitely, and following the right path towards good governance practice. We are partnering with government to make India the Vikasit Bharat, the dream which is there by 2047. We are working towards that. I'm sure, like all the startups, on one side we are promoting the startups, we are also working with government, and we are in a way, like, on one side is the regulator, one side is the entrepreneur, and we are in a way a balancing factor, or a means of communication between the two. So very important role that we are playing. And I think that is how it is about this. And I think we have been on the right path, and we have in whichever situation we have been on the path of good governance, and that is what is, I think, the thing. And also offering all our services under one roof, that is also there. So whichever need uh, under the compliance regulatory aspects, IPR aspects, everything we are offering, including digital this business as well. So we have also, I am a graduate, I have done a diploma in digital business from global universities. And the name which is there, the brand name of the entity, which companies are not even aware of, the entities, entrepreneurs, especially at a lower scale, the unorganized sector, if I may say so, the unorganized sector of India is not yet aware also. Of course, currently, recently, people are getting more and more aware about the value that the name possesses, the name, the qualities associated with that name, the one that assurance is there that yes, the ye naam hai, matlab, things are as per what is there. So people are not aware. Of course, recently awareness is spreading, but then still there is a lot of ground to cover. So not just protection of that name through IPR, we also offer having digitized that name, whether it is through website, whether whichever way, we offer all the services under one roof. That is also one of the assurance that we provide, and that also is what makes us separate out from the competition as well. And we have, in a way, built a niche for our own this firm in this way.
Your next question is, you need to break the rules if you want to success. Do you agree with this statement?
Depends on which rule are you referring to, because in our field especially, the rule, the law is everything. So which rule it is, I mean, we are meant to be following the rule and like complying with the form and substance as it is. So I am not sure, like it would, of course it would depend on like case to case basis, but as far as the this core compliance field goes, I don't think there is any scope of this. Of course, I mean, there is a saying also which goes that if you, if one thinks that compliance is expensive, try non-complying. The type of orders, the type of adjudication orders that authorities are passing currently, it is it is a bit severe as well on businesses, but then it is also on the path of like promoting good governance practice. That is also what is happening. So of course it is a subjective thing, but as far as compliance goes, we believe that to do whatever is required in the way that it is required. So that is how it is.
Okay, moving on next question. What are the key qualities you look for in a partner or co-founder?
Of course, as far as the compatibility is very much important in thinking, ideas, whether the person, the partner, whoever is willing, believes in the same field as what I do, uh, the line of thinking, as I said, even the qualification for, as it is a firm of company secretaries, and as of date, as on the date, multidisciplinary firms are not seen that common. So as far as I would be concerned, of course the qualification as well, because a multidisciplinary firm cannot be created as on date for a company secretary activity. So again, the qualification is first thing, and the line of thought, the what is that person looking for, what is that the vision that that person is carrying, all that compatibility also is would matter. How far that person is willing to like some like what would I say, the operating part. So how much that person is there as far as like basic operating aspects, day to day operations, what are the this how that person goes about, what are like like how that person goes about with the tasks, all that things. I think uh, if that is if we are compatible, then of course that partner of course that is like finding a life partner or finding a business partner. I think the answer would be very complicated as far as this goes. So in that sense, I think, but qualification is of course in my case mandatory. Yeah.
Your next question is, how do you manage risks and what role does it play the decisions making for your business?
Can you please repeat the question?
How do you manage risks and what role does it play in decision making for your business?
There is always like how do I manage risk? That's what you're asking. Uh, that is another this question which would need to be this thought. But then definitely, as far as what impact does it make, there is a thin line. There are often dilemmas. Like in every field, we get dilemmas. There are dilemmas which would always come, and in that case this whether or to be or not to be, that type of a dilemma would always be there. And of course that in that case what decision or what step is taken in those dilemmas would definitely shape how the future would be, how it would be for the firm. So likewise, I think that is what it is. Risk is always there. There are multiple risks. The one of the risk being that as it is end to end digital, there are always system issues, which is a big risk. Whether it is the website, the internet issues, wherever there is wherever there is the peak time, the most hectic period, at that time we will have the websites not working, some internet this the system downgrade, which would also hamper the productivity for a day or so till it is restored. So all that things are there. That is the major risk in my field. That is one of the aspects. So in that case, I think we can't do much, but then we need to have some alternative. We need to have plans in place to restore it and have minimum possible downtime. All that things are there, but then definitely it would shape how it would definitely affect ultimate deliverable aspects. That is also another point. So I think having all those anticipation in place, like we have we need to anticipate whatever that can happen as much as possible and have measures in place for the same. That is how I think. Yeah.
Okay. Moving ahead, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to CS Raj Kapadia, founder RK Kapadia and associates for being our guest for today at Conversation with Consultants. Your presence and engagement help to make it a success. Thank you for providing insight into your inspirational journey. Thank you, Mr. Raj Kapadia.
Thank you very much for the invite, and yeah, thank you very much.
Further, we could also like to thank our audience for listening patiently throughout the event. Thank you everyone for joining with us today and hope that everyone has gained some knowledge from this event. Looking ahead, we are excited to announce that our next episode 34 of Conversation with Consultants will be had on next weekend Ayushi Solanki. We hope to see you all there. Thank you again and look to forward reconnecting with you next week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us all social media handles. To stay connected with us, goodbye and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.